सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर, अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर, अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर, अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर, अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर, अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर, अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Thanks to everyone that's come today. So last week we had Sahib Singh who brought a Sakhi for us. So anyone that's new, that's come today, maybe for the first time, we have Sakhi time where a member of the Sangat brings the Sakhi for us. They do the research. They'll either help the child out, they'll do it themselves. It can be from any dharam, it could be from any part of the house. Someone brings the Sakhi for us and then we discuss the Sakhi, what teachings you can take from that Sakhi. We discuss it and then we move on to Nanak Maharaj's Jivan that we've been going through for the past 3 to 4 years. So Sahib brought Sakhi for us last week, which was relating to Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. And this week, Daru Singh volunteered to bring a Sakhi for us. So I'm going to hand it over to Daru Singh, who's going to share the Sakhi, and we'll discuss that, and then we'll move on to Dana Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Jivan. So nice and loud. Who is the Sakhi about?
Babu Bibi Janji.
Babu Bibi Janji. Okay.
Baba Bibi Janji. Baba Bibi Janji were a thief. Them and their friends followed him to a village to steal some buffaloes. Once they figured out which buffaloes to steal, Baba Bibi Janji went to steal buffaloes, but knocked down a dova, waking the owner of the house up. The next sound was followed by George, waking. Suddenly everyone woke up and wanting to kill him. They chased him till a pond. He jumped in the pot. He jumped in. While he was in the pond, he heard Ikunkar Satnam Karta Purak Nirpav Nirvair Akal Murit Ajuni Sapang Gurprasad Jap Ar Sach Jugar Sach Happy Sach Nanak Siti Sach. the villagers had already gone. He looked up and saw a sick. He got out from the water and asked what part he was doing. He said he was doing Mool Mantar. Then Baba Bidhi Chandji asked if the good Sikh would teach him the part, he would teach him how to steal. And then the good Sikh said, no, I don't want to know how to steal, I want to do part. So then Baba Bidhi Chandji, you have to choose one. And then the good Sikh said, instead, let me take you to my leader, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. The two of them went to the Bar Sahib and saw the beautiful Guru sitting there. First, the Guru Sikh said to Maharaj, this person wants to know how to do part. This person wants to be a Sikh. Maharaj asked him what his job was. And then Baba Bidhi Chandji said, I know we're not supposed to lie here, so I am going to tell the truth. I am a thief. And then Maharaj said, if you still want to be a thief, you still are going to be a thief, but you're going to steal for good. Really good,
really good. What do you learn from Baba Bidhi Chandji's story?
I learned that you should never lie.
Okay, yeah, Baba Bidhi Chandji didn't lie when Guru Sahib asked them. Anything else that you can take away from that? No? Anyone else? Can they take anything else away from Baba Bidhi Chandji's story? No?
I think that people can change.
People can change,
people
yeah.
can change in a positive way.
Yeah.
There's always ways to. You can always improve as a person.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else?
I just got the last one right. I just remember how by Bidhi Chandji got the horses back. These were the past life skills.
Yeah. Because Guru Sahib, you said that you're still going to steal, but you're going to steal for good, like you said, huh? And just to let everyone know here, he only wrote half of that Saki down. Rest of it, he only wrote up till the Mool Mantar part. He only wrote up to there, and after that, it looked like he was reading, but he wasn't. I was just thinking that he was going to stop there, but he carried on, which is really good. Really good. And he told me he was going to do a different Saki, so I wasn't expecting him to do this Saki. He told me he was going to do by Sutra Shah Saki. But like Ben said, for me as well, it's that Baba Bidhi Chandji Saki, for me, is one of them that if you learn it, if you know it, then it gives you that little bit, that hope that no matter what kind of person you are, jitna marji banda hove, hai na, kinna papi hove, whatever paps you've done before, sometimes we'll think that, oh, I'm such a bad person, will Guru Sahib even accept me? But ithe ta Maharaj ne inu Baba Bidhi Chandji nu seene na la ke Maharaj blessed him and made him a Mahapurkh, made him a Brahm Gyani. So forget about anything else. Kithe chor siga, pehla Baba Bidhi Chandji chor sige, they used to steal, roz chori karni, roz thagi marni, सारा कुछ करना पर मारे ने कहते महापुरुष बनाता है Baba Bidhi Chandji. So from making a chore, and we know from going through Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, even Maharaj has saved countless puppies. Maharaj, in essence, they save puppies. Puppy and Maharaj bachaunde hai na. So we should never think that, because sometimes I've come across people where they've put that question, but I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like Maharaj won't accept me because of the way I am. Maharaj accepts the ones that are really low. Maharaj takes on the ones that are really low. Hai na? So we should always keep that in mind ki Maharaj ਜੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਾਬਾ ਬਿਧੀ ਚੰਦ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ can save puppies like Kauda Raks ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬਚਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਹਨਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ can save us easily as well we just need to have that rostha like they did and have that also that thing that Baba Biਧੀ Chand didn't lie to Maharaj say ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਂ ਚੋਰ ਹਾਂ I'm a thief ਹਨਾ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ if someone like me might try to try and play clever or something like say ਹਨਾ ਕਿ but yeah but well done for that really good well done thank you so much for that and well done for being that brave enough to actually do it in front of everyone and on social media as well. Next week, who would like to bring a Sakhi for next week? Does anyone volunteer? You want to bring a Sakhi for next week, yeah? Okay, cool. What's your name? Hanif. Okay. So you're going to bring in the Sakhi for us next week then. Well done, that's really good. Who's your parents? Are your parents here?
Yeah.
Downstairs? Or in this room?
Downstairs.
They're downstairs. If you need help from your parents, get help from your parents. But then just bring the Sakhi next week then, yeah? How old are you?
8.
You're 8 years old? Yeah? So well done to her, yeah? So we'll look forward to that Sakhi next week then. So what's going to bring a Sakhi for us next week at the same time. So thank you so much for that. Let's move on to Dhani Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Jeevan. So we've been going through Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Jeevan. We've been going through their life right from the beginning. Shuruaat to ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਥਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ about 4 years ago. It was before COVID happened. COVID ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ and ਜਦੋਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਹੋਇਆ Maharaj's childhood, Guru Sahib Ji's childhood, going through Maharaj's childhood there when they got married ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋਇਆ when they moved to Sultanpur Lodi they worked at the Modi Khana and then they started on their first travels the people that they met kings, they met poor people and then they had a really big trip to they went to Makkah as well Makkah ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੱਜ ਲਈ ਭਾਈ ਮਰਦਾਨਾ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ and then they went to Sumer Parbat where they went and talked to the Siddhs ਸਿੱਧਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੰਡਲੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਿੱਧਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਸਿੱਧਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰਕੇ then they were making their way down and they met Bhagat Prahlad Ji that I mentioned in Rera Sahib and they're having really with Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj by Balaji or asking Bhagat Prahlad Ji to tell them about their life ki ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਕਥਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ and Bhagat Prahlad Ji it's been about I think about 3-4 weeks now since we've been going through it so I stopped listening to the katha today thinking we need to finish it we need to try and get past this part of the Bihar. I finished at 6:50 I was at home and this is when I pressed stop at 6:50 I quickly and then jumped into the car and then got here that's why I was a couple of minutes late but let's go through let's continue and we'll see what teachings we can take away from it because last week we took out really good teachings last week ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਹਫਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਭਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਹਲਾਦ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਕੀ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ and ਅੱਜ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ what do we learn from today so quick recap from last week ਪਿਛਲੇ ਹਫਤੇ ਭਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਹਲਾਦ ਜੀ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ the dance took Bhagat Prahlad Ji the demons if you want to call it that they took them away from his father because his father wants him to learn politics he wants him to learn how to be a Raja but an evil Raja his father wants him to be an evil king and he gives them to these two teachers and they take him to the house and then tie him up and then they're trying to teach him but the teacher's sons the children would come into the room where Bhagat Prahlad Ji are tied up but Bhagat Prahlad Ji ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ like starts teaching the sons about Vaheguru about Bhagati how you should focus about meditation and the kids are listening and they're slowly changing their lives as well so back then there was this thing you had the Devi Devta you had like good people and bad people you had the dance the Devi Devta and this is like the world of dance like we call them the dance like demons or horrible people and Bhagat Prahlad Ji are saying to the kids to see you should focus on bhakti and this is all for the kids that are coming that they should take this message away like this you might think that ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਮਰ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ the young your young life this age is to have fun is to play and explore things explore the world whatever yeah I agree with that you should all do that but if you can focus a little bit on doing bhakti about doing Simran no matter how hard it is that will set your life up for the rest of your life then ਇੱਕ foundation ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਫਿਰ ਜੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਆ ਉਮਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਭਗਤੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਬਹੁਤੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਣ if they do a little bit of Simran in this life it'll set their life forever then And then you won't, as a parent, won't have that stress that will they be successful in life or whatever, because why would we look after them then? I know Maharaj will look after them then. So, Bhagat Prahlad ji keh rahe ne bachchiyan nu ki look, don't think that you've got loads of years to live, you've got loads of time. And this was like scary that we talked about it, so I'm just going to recap this bit and then we'll move on. So Bhagat Prahlad ji kehte, imagine if you've got 100 years to live, right? You've got 100. If you live to 100, then 50 years of that just go by in sleeping. कि 100 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ 50 ਸਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਸੌਂਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੀਂਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ, that you're going to go sleep for 50 years, and then 8 to 9 years get wasted on your childhood. Then you become Jawan, when you become an adult, and then you dedicate your time towards your wife and kids. And whoever's married and who has got kids here will vouch for that. That is the case. बहुत औखी हो जाती है फिर भगती करनी उस वेले, because but your dhyan goes towards the kids. नींद चजना नहीं आती, so you can't get up Amritilla properly. सारा कुछ is standard है ना. It becomes harder. And then you stress about work and making money. फिर वो चिंता रहती है कि काम करिए, पैसा बनाइए, क्योंकि पालना करनी है बच्चों दी. You've got your wife to look after and you've got your kids to look after as well. So you have to stress about work, making money. And then you become old, and then you think that Bhagati fair kar lange. We've been talking about this, me and Singhani have, that right now is a bit hard with the kids. We're focusing our time on kids, we are dedicated our time towards the kids. When the kids get a bit older, then we can start focusing on doing a bit Simran and doing Bani again and doing Amritullah again, proper solid. We can focus on our Jivan again. But ki pata kalu ki ho jana, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, innit? So time goes in that, innit? But then Maharaj goes, Bhagavad Prahlad ji say, then you stress about work and making money. Then after that you become old, and then you lose all of your senses. Then you can't even get up. It's hard to get up. It's hard to do anything. As we know, when you get old, what happens? And then they go, all that time wastes away. And then when I heard that, I thought that was really scary. But in reality, we haven't got that much time. So we should treat that every day, that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So try and do some sort of Simran, try and do some sort of Vani part, to change your life. They continue and they say that you get stuck in more. More means attachment. And then they said that without a true guru, you can't get out of this web. So Bhagavad Prahlad is saying this, yeah? So Sanu Kere, without a true guru, you can't get out of this web that of more. And I said that last week that we've got that true guru. We've got Tanu Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Tanu Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Tanu Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We've got the true guru. So what excuses have we? We haven't got any excuse that we've not got that true guru, so we can't be at that level. We can't get to that level. I'm not saying get to the level of Bhagavad Prahlad ji, but kuch na kuch badlo in your jivan, make a little bit of a change, a tiny bit of a change, and then you'll see the benefits of that. I promise you will. So we left it there last week. I thought it was a nice place to finish. Finishing it off on that line that we've got the perfect true guru, Tanu Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. So we should be thankful to Maharaj. So we left it there. Let's do Ustat. Let's praise Guru Sahib Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, through Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj Bani, through their words, and we'll continue on the journey. Gyan dhyan kish karma na jana, sar na jana teri, sabde vatta Satgur Nanak, jin kal rakhi meri. Sabte vatta Satgur Nanak, jin kal rakhi meri. So Bhagavad Prahlad, you are saying that you get stuck in more attachment, and without a true guru, you can't be saved. नहीं बचा जा सकता जे थोड़े कोल नहीं guru हैगा. And if Vaheguru does kirpa, only then you can get saved. So if your paag are good, if your destined, if your destiny is good, जे थोड़े पाग चंगे आ, फिर ही तुसी बच सकते हो इस दुनिया तो मोह तो. But we shouldn't, our mentality shouldn't be this, because I've come across people when I've said this, that if your destiny is good, then you only can get to level. Then they say, then that means my destiny is not good. मेरे पाग नहीं चंगे हैगे. फिर जे थोड़े पाग नहीं चंगे, if you think that, then why don't you do the ardas to Maharaj कि Maharaj साढ़े पाग चंगे बना दो, because Maharaj is capable of doing anything. Maharaj can change your path. Maharaj can change your destiny just like that. With a click of a finger, Maharaj can change it. But they continue and they say, recognizing this world to be false, you are then able to walk on the path. Look at that, like to walk on the path, you need to have that recognition, you need to have that that knowledge, that awareness that this world that we're living in is false. पर ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੱਚ ਮੰਨ ਕੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਹ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੱਚੀ ਆ and we forget about ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ then ਹਨਾ that we think that this all everything in this world that's all true ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਸੱਚ ਆ ਪਰ ਨਹੀਂ this world is all false and then you can start walking on this path ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਜਗ ਰਚਨਾ ਸਭ ਝੂਠ ਹੈ ਜਾਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਏ ਮੀਤ ਕਿ Admire saying that to my friend I recognize that this whole jug is ਝੂਠ it's false hana and then you recognize that Vaheguru is within you if you walk, when you start walking on the path when you recognize this world to be false then you recognize and get that knowledge that Vaheguru is within you ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਆ and you're able to focus ਤੇ ਫੇਰ ਧਿਆਨ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ ਅਸਲ में ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ that we've not got that knowledge or we've not got that awareness that Vaheguru is within us that's why we come out with them excuses that I can't focus ਮੇਰਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜੋ ਸਿਮਰਨ when we're sitting there to do simran or part we haven't got that mindset that Vaheguru is within me so let me try and connect with Vaheguru in that way right we try and look for Vaheguru outside somewhere and then that focus is hard the focus is hard to bring about right? The then son heard this from Bhagat Prahlad ji and then they said where did you get this gyan of Vaheguru from ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਆਇਆ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ we were all learning together from our fathers right from our fathers from our uncles from all the dens no one else has taught us remember I'm saying that there's this world of like the bad people and in their world the school that they go to they get taught all bad stuff how to be an evil king how to be evil in a way they're getting taught all this and the kids are asking that where have you learned all this stuff all this knowledge about Vaheguru from no one else has taught us not in this whole land no one's allowed to teach in that way right where did you get this knowledge from remove this doubt from within our mind please है ना ਉਹ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਭਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਹਲਾਦ ਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ੰਕਾ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੂਰ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਗਿਆਨ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਭਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਹਲਾਦ ਜੀ then said then that when my father Harnakas went to go and do tap went to go and get more powerful he did this with much strictness right the Devi Devte they got together and said we should defeat the Dants we should defeat Harnakas they then came to the land of Multan where my father was this whole land Multan and then they battled with the Dants a massive battle took place between the Devi Devte the good and the bad Indra Devta, who is one of the main Devta in their world, Indra Devta used such a weapon. ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਏਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਸੀ ਇੰਦਰ ਦੇਵਤਾ ਕੋਲ ਉਹਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਹਥਿਆਰ ਵਰਤਿਆ when he used it on the dance he destroyed most of the dance just like that all the dance just got and they all ran away to save themselves ਉਹ ਡਰ ਕੇ ਭੱਜ ਗਏ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਸਾਰੇ dance ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸੀਗੇ the bad people the Devta with Indra Devta then went back to their realms they were going back to their realms but before they went back to the realms they finishing the dance off they then looted Multan they looted the whole place and then Bhagat Prahlad ji kende they grabbed my mother Indra Devta grabbed my mother and he took her with him and on the way back to the realms where they came from on the way back they met Narada Muni ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਫਕੀਰ ਹੋਇਆ he's a fakir a musician a traveler right he traveled across all the realms across all the worlds he will be traveling and he was like a fakir he had a lot of gyan he's got a lot of gyan seeing Narada Muni ne ki kita Narada Muni ne Indra Devta ko puchya asked Indra Devta ki why are you taking her for what's her fault why are you taking her with you let her go listen to me meri benti man enu chhad de tu Indra Devta then said that she's pregnant and her child is very powerful Indra Devta kenda the child that's within her is very powerful as soon as he is born I will kill him ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਮਾਰ ਦੂੰਗਾ because ਉਹਦੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਹਰਨਾਕਸ ਦਾ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਆ ਹਰਨਾਕਸ is a very big powerful dant ਇਹਦਾ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਦੈਂਤ ਬਣੂਗਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਮਾਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ we'll just kill him ਪਹਿਲਾਂ as soon as he's born I will kill him that's why I brought her with me then this will finish the dance off dance ਫਿਰ ਪੂਰੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹਰਾ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਫਿਰ Narada Muni then said you can't kill him ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ he will be a Bhagat of Vaheguru he will have so much gyan ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਿਆਨ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ no one can destroy him none of you Devi Devta will be able to touch him ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੱਥ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾ ਸਕਦੇ Indra Devta then got scared and let her go ਇੱਕਦਮ ਉਹਨੇ ਛੱਡਤਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਡਰ ਗਿਆ Indra Devta hearing that a Bhagat will be born that then he did matha take to her Bhagat Prahladi's Mata, he did Matha take to her and he did Parkarma 3 times. So he walked around her 3 times out of respect. Ye ene Bhagat nu janam dena hai. Narada Muni then brought my mother to a ashram, to a place where these rishis and munis did that, where they focused on doing meditation, where they focused on doing bhakti and focused on trying to connect with Vaheguru. So he brought her there and then said, Putri, you stay here without any problem. Putri, tu ithe reh, tenu koi kisi ne kuch nahi kehna, tu ithe reh bina dar to. Bina dar to tu ithe reh, bina chinta to. Until your husband doesn't come for you, stay here until then. You don't need to be scared of anyone. Kisi kol dar di lod nahi hegi tenu. She stayed there without any worry then. So Bhagavad Gita are telling this whole story to the kids. Remember that to the children. This is how I got knowledge of Vaheguru. So my mother stayed there without any worry. And I was in her womb. She was pregnant with me. And then she did seva of all the rishis and the munis and sadhus. Unhe seva kiti ona di. And the Mahapurukhs then gave upadesh to my mother. But that upadesh, that teaching that they gave to my mother affected me. So something to learn from here. This is especially for people that, for any of Sangat members that might not be married yet, and when they do get married and they have children, when women are pregnant with babies, at that point, it's very important that you try your best to smash the simran, to smash the seva. Jinni simran kar sakde ho, jinni seva kar sakde ho, bahut zyada zaruri hai. Because when the child is in the womb, it affects the baby, affects the child. So a story that I remember is Sant Atar Singh Ji. He did a bahut bade Mahapurukh hoya from our Sikh itihas. If you don't know, if you've never heard of Sant Atar Singh Ji, you can Google them and all the information will come up. How they became a Mahapurukh, what their past life, what they were before they became a Mahapurukh, what they used to do, how and the lives they changed. Sant Atar Singh Ji were very, very powerful. Sant Atar Singh Ji's mata, when she was pregnant with Sant Atar Singh Ji, she did Sawa Lakh Mool Mantras. 125,000 mool mantra de jaap kite one jado oho Sant Atar Singh Ji ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਰਭ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗੇ when they were in the womb. Gyani Sher Singh Ji also said as well, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ, Gyani Sher Singh Ji said to mothers that are especially pregnant, that the room that you spend a lot of time in, you should have weapons in that room. If you want your child to be a surma, if you want your child to be a warrior, then have weapons adorned on the walls. Have photos of Shaheed Singhs and Singhniya. Have photos of all the Guru Sahib Jis in the room, and that will affect the baby. Oh, asar hoga apne aane bacche te fir. It affects a child so much that when the child is when the child is within the womb, whatever the mother does, whatever the mother says, jo odi rehni behni hai, jidda di hegi, it affects the baby. It will affect the baby, no matter what anyone says. Ithe tak affect karda hai. We learn from this story where once ek wari ki hoya, ek mata aayi to Sant Atar Singh Ji. Sant Atar Singh Ji ko aake unne benti ki thi ki Sant Atar Singh Ji ki my child he's picked up on a habit of smoking cigarette or tobacco peen lag gaya. मैं बहुत ਉਹਦੀ ਮਿੰਤਾ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਨਾ ਕਰ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਲਤ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ either he's gone into bad sangat ਜਾਂ ਕੀ ਪਰ ਮੇਰੀ he's not listening to me, so ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ say to him, bring him. And then Sant Atar Singh Ji said ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ and then brought him and then asked him, and he still didn't stop. He carried on smoking. And then Sant Atar Singh Ji said to the mata, we're going to come to your village one day. So that day came. Sant Atar Singh Ji went to the house. And then Sant Atar Singh Ji said, when you were pregnant, which room did you used to spend most time in? She took him into that room. Sant Atar Singh Ji started looking around the room, and then ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਮੰਜਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਦਾ ਮੰਜੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਧ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਫੋਟੋ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ. Just like in India you get these random photos, will have random paintings or whatnot of kids and whatever they want, right? ਇੱਕ picture ਬਣੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਉੱਥੇ ਫੋਟੋ ਬਣੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ of people sitting around a table, and one of the men in that photo was smoking. And ਉਹਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, the ਧਿਆਨ used to go on her, and ਉਹੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਅਸਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ. And then ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਾਪ ਕੀਤੇ, ਪਾਠ ਕੀਤੇ, ਦਿੱਤੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ, and then he stopped, ਹਨਾ. But Sant Atar Singh Ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨੇ stop ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ, he'll get away from this, right? And don't think that that time's gone now, that our children are big and that someone's gone. Even as they're a child, when they're small at this age, all that, whatever you do, like if you tell them Sakya, if you tell them to do Simran, why won't they? They're sponges. They'll do that. It's the way you teach them. When I Sakhi Jadi Baba Vidhi Chand Ji, I think I've only told him twice before going to sleep. Saun to pehla mainu do wari dasiya, and he remembers it. And this was like months ago, probably even a year ago when I told him. It's been ages since I told him it. But I didn't teach it, I didn't tell him, I didn't prepare him for today. And he remembers it all. But whatever you Gyani Kulwan Singh ji Katha vich keh rahe si ki, you know, this whole mentality that we have, especially in the Western world, that your child, bachcha ya thonu court vich pauna chahida ya, you should put them in away from you. They should be in almost a separate room. Or kamre vich pauna chahida. This is a Gora way of thinking. Goran di mata hai, sadi mata nahi hegi. Otherwise, you know, where the baby sleeps with the mother. That's our thing, where the baby does sleep with the mother. And then he was again, you were laughing, saying that ajkal ta aida karde a ki kamre vich pa dinde a, light band kar dinde a, and this kid's not even sleep. Hun bachcha ki karuga? They'll be staring at the walls, they'll be tossing and turning, and they go to Sakhi se na ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰੋ ਪਾਠ ਕਰੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ while they're falling asleep, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੋ ਵੀ when at the point they fall asleep, if they're listening to a Sakhi at the point they fall asleep, or if they're listening to a Simran, ਜੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਉਹ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਤਾਂ ਸੌਂ ਜਾਣ, ਉਹੀ ਅਸਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ that will affect them while they're sleeping, through them, after them 6-7 hours or however many hours they sleep. It will affect them. But बहुत जरूरी है that we actually do that when when mothers, or even with kids now. But Bhakt Prahlad ji continue, they said to the dance children, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ always stay away from vikars, vices. You will then get anand. So Vishay Vikar, you know, the bad things that distract us from doing bhakti. Both in the world, there'll be so many things that will affect you by looking at it, by listening to it, right? These kind of things that will affect your mind. It will stop you from focusing on meditation, from listening, from tasting, all that kind of sort of stuff. Bhakt Prahlad ji, stay away from these Vishay Vikars, these vices, then you will get anand, and then you will make your life fruitful. Then you won't fall into the cycle of life and death. Ki bar marna, bar janam lena. The Updesh that Narada Muni told me, that's what I'm telling you. The Updesh that Narada Muni gave to my mother, dedicate your life to Vaheguru and say that Vaheguru, you are making me do all this. That if you start smashing the Simran, start smashing the Bhagati, but make sure you always have that mentality, mindset that Vaheguru is making you do all this. The children heard this, they got that love for Simran and they started to focus on it. Dekho how Bhakt Prahlad ji affected the children by telling them what to do. And they started focusing on it, and with love they started meditating. Day and night the children are remembering Vaheguru. When the two teachers saw this, they saw their children doing bhakti, they saw that all of the children are doing bhakti in this school. They said, Kya ki ho gaya? What's this happened? Eta ulta hi ho gaya kam. So they took Bhakt Prahlad ji back to Harnakas again and said to him that keep your son with you to ethi rakhenu, because he's changed all of our sons. He's taught them to do bhakti. Harnakas had so much ego, he got really angry. Fire burning inside him, verbally saying bad things to his son. Saying that you are a shame on our family, to kalanka sade parvar te. Now your death is near. Now your death is near. Our father saying that to his own son. You keep on disrespecting me. And he kicked him hard in the chest. He kicked me hard in the chest when he said that. He goes, tu mera satkar nahi karda, bar meri tu gal nahi manda, fir jor na lat mari ode shakti vich, Bhakt Prahlad di shakti vich. And then at that point, Bhakt Prahlad ji ki karde, they folded both of their hands, and then he goes, I said to my father, this anger that you have within you, it's going to waste. Inna gussa krodh. Why are you saying such things, Pitaji? Tusi aida kaate kah rahe ho? No one is in control. Kisi de hath vich hai nahi aa, so only Vaheguru is in control. He is the master. Vaheguru is in control of everything, from humans to ants. All in his control. Sara kuch Vaheguru de hath vich a. Apne manukhan to leke kidiyan tak. Sara mare de hath vich a. It's all Vaheguru's kirpa that we have life in us. leave this way of living. ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਇੰਨਾ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਇਹ ਛੱਡ ਦਿਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ do ਸਤ ਸੰਗਤ ਸੰਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਗਤ ਕਰੋ ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ and do ਸਿਮਰਨ of ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ leave the ego ਹੰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ you will win your mind in this way ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੱਤ ਲਓਗੇ because all this time ਹਰਨਾਕ ਐਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ they think that they've won their mind but in reality they haven't they're the weakest person ever they've not won their mind people like this and then Bhagavad Prabhuji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if you haven't won your mind and you call yourself a warrior people call that person a ਮੂਰਖ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਧੂ ਆ ਮੂਰਖ ਸਾਧਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ Harnack has heard this and then he got even more angry so this kind of person ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਜਿਹਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਆ Harnack ਆਪਣੇ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਦੇ ਵਚਨ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ he gets even more angry and that fire burned even more inside him his eyes became bloodshot red his body started to shake with so much anger his nostrils are flaring and in his court everyone got scared when they saw Harnack in this way Kavi Santokh Singh ji जिन्हों ने लिखा है इतिहास they before starting the next part of the इतिहास they do a mangal they do ardas to Vaheguru and they say ardas to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj so there'll be parts now of this इतिहास Kavi Santokh Singh have written parts of it and then they'll have a small little break intermission if you want to call it that they'll have an intermission and then they'll do a mangal they'll praise Guru Nanak Dev Ji or aap ardas kar diya Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj they'll do ardas themselves and they say that Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj please save me from the shackles that have tied me up in these vices in these Vishivikar they are doing this ardas they say save me so I can make this life fruitful listen Tan Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj so Bhai Balaji Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's friend who are narrating this whole katha to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj our second Guru and they're getting it written down this whole itihas this whole history they say to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj they say Maharaj Ji listen to what's going to happen next Bhagavad Prahlad you are telling us about their father saying that my father was so angry at this point bahut gussa si ode man vich he wanted to kill me aur mainu marna chaਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ and then said that he said that other than me who is more powerful ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ ਹੋਰ ਇੰਨੀ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ no one's more powerful than ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੰਨੀ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੋਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ he had so much ego within him he goes show me otherwise I will take your head off right now ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਸਿਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਲਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਆ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾ ਦੇ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ ਹੋਰ who's more powerful than me then he took out his kirpan from his mian he took his kirpan out from his teeth and he goes tell me who's going to protect you now ਹੁਣ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਤੇਰੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕੌਣ ਕਰੂਗਾ and then I then said Pita ji that Parmeshwar is everywhere Parmeshwar Vaheguru is everywhere there's no place where Vaheguru isn't Harnaka said if that's true what you're saying if he's everywhere then why can't I see him everywhere and then he pointed out towards a pillar that was holding the building holding his palace up he pointed at the pillar and he goes why can't I see him in this pillar then that was made out of metal he goes you're talking nonsense you're talking nonsense I will finish you right now Bhagavad Prahlad then said look carefully ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖੇ ਫੇਰੀ ਤੂੰ ਦੇਖੇਗਾ ਫੇਰੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਸੂਗਾ but you can't see them the thing is the issue is within you that you can't see him but Vaheguru is everywhere with anger he looked towards the thumb the pillar and with his kirpan in ਗੁੱਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾਨ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਠਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀ the handle he hit the pillar ਜਿਹੜਾ thumb ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਾਲ ਮਾਰਿਆ ਉਹਨੇ he hit it really hard and then at that point there was such a loud noise they were so loud that everyone that was there their eardrums burst and some even fainted from the sound it was like a loud thunder that had happened from that noise and even Harnack was ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹਿੱਲ ਗਿਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਇੰਨੀ ਉੱਚੀ ਆਈ he thought that what's that noise ਇੰਨੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਉੱਚੀ ਆਈ but I can't see anything then all of a sudden then out of that pillar Narsingh came out of that pillar half human half lion or you can say that he's not human and he's not an animal either but he broke this pillar and he came out of this and this was such a scary scene that was happening right now Harnack is thinking that Aki ho raha what's going on who's this Aki aa gaya mere samne he couldn't even think straight he's getting weak and he's getting scared because he challenged Vaheguru didn't he now he's getting scared or dar gaya and then it's being described that Narsingh he opened his mouth so wide that like a cave his mouth is open thick hair on his chest and neck and he's got a massive chest he's got long big arms his nails are sharp and huge. They can't be cut. The dad saw this. All of the Harnakas servants that were in the palace, they saw this and got scared and ran away. And then Harnakas tried to hit Narsingh with a club. And then he came forward. When he came forward to hit Narsingh, when he tried to hit him, Narsingh grabbed Harnakas. And then he let him go. And then Harnakas got even more hankar after this, but the truth was he was playing with him. Jara Narsingh see, he was playing with him. Just like a lion does play with his food first or his prey first, that's how he's playing with him. The Devi Devta all watching this play take place. Ek Natakiya Vaibru da Maharaj dikha rahe ne sari duniya nu, even to us now, that how Vaibru exists, Vaibru does exist, and how Vaibru wants to do things. Harnakas then grabbed a shield and sword, and then he ran towards Narsingh, and then he tried to attack again. Narsingh roared really loud. Harnakas tried to run, but Narsingh grabbed him again, and then this time he didn't let him go. And then he went into the doorway of the palace and then placed him on his lap, because let's not forget that when Harnakas was doing tapt, when he was focusing on meditation to try and get powers, when he got darshan of Brahma, and then Brahma said, ask for whatever you want to ask for, Harnakas said, I want you to grant me with this, that I can never die with a weapon, I can never die in the day or night, I can never die inside or outside, I can never die in the air or on the land, and no Devi Devta can ever kill me, no human can ever kill me. I want you to grant me this. Brahma said, I grant you this. Main tenu deta. But then what happens is, the way he does get killed, Narsingh, who isn't human, who isn't an animal, who hasn't got any shastra with him because he uses his nails, you can't class nails as a weapon, takes him into the doorway of the palace. So now he's not either inside or outside, and the sun's just about to set, so you can't call it night, you can't call it day. Then he placed him on his lap. Then when he placed him on his lap, he's not in the sky, and he's not on the earth, or not dharti de utte, not akash vich, and then placed him, and then in 1 second he used his nails, Narsingh did, and he ripped his chest open, shakti ode paad ke, and ripped out his heart and ended Harnakas' life just like that. Ek shin vich Harnakas di zindagi Narsingh ne edda hi khatam karti, and Bhagavad Prahlad ji got saved from getting killed again. We will leave it there. And what's going to happen next, I'm assuming कि आगे की होवेगा कि धन गुरु नानक देव जी महाराज भाई बाला जी भाई मर्दाना जी दे नाल भगत प्रहलाद जी दी जीवन कथा सुन के उन्होंने they're going to move on now, they're going to continue on their journey. आगे की होगा पर I don't know that, और मैंने भी नहीं पता कि आगे की होगा. Then we have to wait till next week to find out कि महाराज who's महाराज going to meet next, that we'll learn from. Who are Maharaj going to see next, and who are Maharaj going to even save next when they meet whoever they meet. Yeah, so we'll leave that there. We'll move on to Q&As. If anyone's got any questions, then we can do a Q&A session quickly. Otherwise, we'll call it a day and we'll move towards it. But has anyone got questions about the Sakhi that Daru Singh did, or about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? Just in general, has anyone got any questions about to do with Sikhi generally?
Paji, just quickly, obviously Brahma gave him Harnakas the powers to not be able to obviously die in the way that you described. How is Brahma in terms of Sikhi? How is he, not described, but how is he placed in terms of Sikhi?
Funny that you asked that, because just 2 days ago, if anyone follows on Instagram, Sikhi in Snippets, his name's Kampardesi, he's from Leicester, he's a police officer, but Kampardesi Baji, that his name, we call him Kampaji, he's so blessed in a way where he's got so much gyan, he's got so much knowledge, because what he's overdone over his life is whenever Jodhavi koi bhi Mahapurkh aaya, or like a famous Katha Vachak, what he's done is he's recorded their Katha, audio Katha and video, and he's made a website called Gurmat Vichar, And this is what we're doing now, going through Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj Jivan. I'm taking off his website, Gurmat Vichar. I'm listening to Gyani Kirpal Singh Ji Boparayale, who was Sanskrit Bachan Singh Ji student, that are going through Nanak Prakash. But Khambar Desi on Instagram, you know how you can do that question thing, that ask me a question, and then people ask questions. Loads of people ask questions to do with Sikhi. That was one of the questions that got put forward. Someone said, out of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shivji, who's the most powerful? And he just answered it in one simple answer. He just said that they are all flawed. They all have flaws within them. So yeah, that's where it gets placed, that they weren't perfect. They weren't perfect.
Because obviously going through it for a few weeks, and to me it was kind of, Brahma's obviously given him so much power. Why did he give him that? Obviously, was it because he's got a bit of ego? Because obviously he did a lot of stuff and he's thinking, yeah, he deserves something, so yeah, I'll give him that. And I was thinking, but why would you give him something like that?
Yeah.
You know, why would you do that? And then obviously now you said that they're all flawed.
They all have flaws.
Yeah.
They all had a flaw within them. But look, if that didn't all happen, we wouldn't be sitting here doing this. If you think about it like that, and Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, Guru Sahib Ji have talked about Harnakas, Prahlad countless times, and Bhagat Prahlad Ji, this story is attached to Harnakas in that way,
Yeah.
So that's how it will happen. So if that didn't happen, then Bhagat Prahlad Ji wouldn't be existing then, they wouldn't have existed in that way as well then. So we had that question in our mind as well. Ki Jere Devi Devta kafi yours here, sometimes you hear, like in my mind while I was listening to it, ki unhone Multan nu sara luttiya, baad chon jo jang jitt li si, they looted the whole. Why did they do that for? Why would they loot the whole place and stuff like that? But yeah, it's they have flaws within them, but they've been put on this earth, and the Sakya that are all that we know of, it's all to take teachings from, I think. Ki je Devi Devte bhi ऐदा देवी सकते that they've got, we should be really careful then, है ना? जे देवी देवते भी इन्ना तप करके they such a state is ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵਾਰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਸਤਕਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ऐदा ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ ਦੇਵੀ ਦੇਵਤੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ, but ਜੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਜੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ they can come off the path, we should be really careful then. ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਡਰ ਕੇ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ऐदा ਗਲਤੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, we could easily make a mistake like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Is it like a jewel filter or what?
No, that's not a June. That's because if it was a June, then we'd be going through that as well. But I know this much कि ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੰਚਾਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਨਾ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੰਚਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੰਜ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਾ ਕੇ ਪੰਜ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਰਹਿਤ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. I just remember this one thing that the ਜਥੇਦਾਰ of ਪੰਜ ਪਿਆਰੇ, Baldeep Singh's name is, but he was telling the ਰਹਿਤ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ, and he said something that still was stuck in my mind, that ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਆ, it comes in Anand Sahib as well, है ना? Soranar Munja Amrit Khojde, that even these rishis, munis, Devi Devte, that they're thirsty for this Amrit that we've been blessed with. So this June is not a June that we ever fall into. That's they're begging for this Amrit so they can come out of that.
Is it like, do they have that, is it like show of end or they're stuck in that June forever or something?
I'm not 100% sure about that, if their life does end. I don't think so. Do you know? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. पता नहीं हैगा जी उन्होंने जिंदगी खत्म होगी या नहीं जरी हम आपने देवी देवते या stuff like that. But no, I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll find out. Has anyone got any other questions at all quickly to do with Sikhi anyway? Cool. If not, then let's call it a day. So we can recap हर एक हफ्ते, एक 4 साल हो गए हैं हम करते हैं. It's been 4 years गुरु नानक देव महाराज का जीवन उत्ते हर एक शुक्रवार ਨੂੰ, right? हर एक हफ्ते. I don't think कि ऐसा दा हफ्ता नंगिया कि जिथे महाराज ने सानू नहीं दस्या कि सिमरन करिया करो. और for the past 4 weeks 4 हफ्ते हो गए भगत प्रहलाद जी जीवन, वो भगत प्रहलाद जी सानू दस रहे हैं कि सिमरन करिया करो, भगती करिया करो. सिर्फ गुरु साहिब जी ने कह रहे, भगत प्रहलाद जी हुण सानू कह रहे ने भगती करिया करो, सिमरन करिया करो, do सिमरन. And is our किस्मत I suppose कि पहले 2-3 साल we never used to do it. We used to finish the Katha, do Q&As and call it a day. but then ਫਿਰ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਇਆ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਰੇਕ ਹਫਤੇ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ, ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ. So as ਸੰਗਤ, why don't we do it for a couple of minutes, ਹਨਾ, ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਮਿੰਟਾਂ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰੀਏ, and then that just sets us up for the whole week, ਹਨਾ. You'll even feel, and I've just spoke to some of the members of the Sangat baad chon, ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਜੋ ਕਰੀਦਾ is very powerful, ਹਨਾ. And after, when we finish doing it, it just makes you peaceful inside. All the stresses from the week, they just kind of all go away then when this moment comes, hana. So let's all do Simran. When you do Simran, try and focus on the sound. ਧਿਆਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ, ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਤੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇਣਾ ਆ. ਸਿਮਰਨ ਜੋ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿਓ. And just think of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj while you're, just imagine Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj while you're doing it, and try and connect in that way. Oh, connection Maharaj ਨਾਲ ਬਣਾਓ, and watch your जीवन change. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਫਿਰ ਬਦਲੂਗਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਫਿਰ, ਹਨਾ, ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਬਦਲੂਗਾ ਫਿਰ. So let's do it as Sangat form, and then we'll do Ustat Guru Sahib Ji, sare Guru Sahib Ji Ustat karke, and then we'll say Fateh the Nagni, yeah. So if I made any mistakes, guys, ਜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ. ਬੱਚਾ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਕਿ I'm only learning like everyone else is, ਹਨਾ. ਮੈਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਿਹਾ, I'm just listening to Katha on a weekly basis. ਮੈਂ ਕਥਾ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਆ. So ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ when I listen to it, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣਾਉਂਦਾ ਵੀ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ. ਪਰ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ. Thank you to everyone that always comes every week. That gives me the opportunity to do this, to actually listen to everyone, and that we're able to go through this. We thank Maharaj, hana. But we're going to continue this. अगले हफ्ते कंटिन्यू रखेंगे in the same time, same place, in the same way. Sakhi, what we're doing a Sakhi for us. We'll go to Guru Nanak Dev Maharaj Jeevan. आगे की होगा, अगले हफ्ते पता लगेगा. So let's do similar now, yeah. Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru. तन है गुरु नानक देव जी, तन है जपो तन है गुरु नानक देव जी, तन है गुरु अंगद देव जी, तन है गुरु अंगद देव जी, तन है गुरु अमरदास जी, धन है गुरु अमरदास जी, तन है गुरु रामदास जी, धन है गुरु रामदास जी, तन है गुरु अर्जन देव जी, तन है तन है गुरु हर गोबिंद साहिब जी, धन है तन है गुरु हराय साहिब जी, धन है तन है गुरु हर ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੰਥ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਤੇਰਾ